Hi guys, so today I want to make a quick card using the Crafter's Companion Enchanted Christmas items that I recently picked up. If you didn't see that haul, I'll have a link for you guys because I basically got their whole collection. I just saw today a video but with Craig from Crafter's Companion, and he started off the video with like a piece of tape on his mouth sitting in the corner because I guess he said he was going to have this and he was not for his show, and he's like, I'm so sorry, they told me to never say it again and all this stuff, but that Sarah was going to launch it next month, which is October, which is weird because you can buy it on their site right now. But I guess if you want to wait until HSN has it, then it won't be for another long while. But what I want to do is just use some of the papers. They're really fun, they're gorgeous, and a couple of the dies, and then obviously a stamp or some kind of sentiment. So I'll be using the background, the Glistening Glacier. It does cut out the whole thing, so the first thing I'm like, oh, I will inlay that, but I can't because it's going to cut out the whole frame. Unless you're really, really good at partial die cutting and just kind of go in and leave that section open, leave that section open, leave that section, and keep turning your paper. I just don't want to deal with that. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it out. So it's going to be like a little frame. It's going to go over some other paper, card base, and some paper. And then we have Festive Fairies. That is the little dies that are super adorable. And then the papers I'll be using are probably going to come from the A4 Luxury Matte Mirror card in the Enchanted Christmas collection. And I guess this is cerise is what they call it, because that's what I thought, but this looks more purple than some of the cerise foil, but maybe, I don't know, that's what they said. I was just watching another video recently. It comes with the silver, the blue or turquoise, I guess, and black. I think I'm going to cut the fairies out of this just to give them a little something different. I was just going to cut them in matte black, but I'm going to cut them out of this black matte mirror card. And what's cool about this, you see how this looks kind of layered here in front? These are just basically extra pieces of paper, because in the box here it's 250 gram papers. There's 4 colors, 6 of each, so there's 24 papers in here. But these little areas here are legit this paper in black up to here, this paper in turquoise up to here, just so you can see what it looks like. But you can also use them because it's just more paper that they cut in this way. So I'll probably just use what's left here, you know, to do the die cutting on. So just so you know, it's not anything I have to cut up or waste any paper just for that. And then I'll be using, I'm going to cut the silver glitter card with the larger frame die. Again, that's a half piece of the glitter paper. I can feel that. It's not a half piece of black coming down. So that's probably a full piece of black, and then you just put the half piece of silver in here. So that will not go to waste. We'll use that on our frame. And then I think for the card itself, the card base, I'll probably be using the cerise color because I love that color. I think it's pretty, but obviously the actual paper. And then maybe some accent of the Enchanted Christmas 12 by 12 paper pad. And I told you I love this design right here. I'm going to try to skip to it back here. These are also really pretty. They'll just kind of be in the background, but I think I'm going to use this one because I love it so much, and it looks like trees, and there's like the purple is just kind of speckled here and there, but that turquoise is really popping. So I think it's really pretty. So we're just going to start off by die cutting. Again, I haven't used any of these things yet, so let me open these up. I usually just open my packages like this, and then I keep them in there. I always push them back in there, unless you have another system, you know, magnets and all that, and then that's great. But normally I open these up, and the way I use them, I just pull them out, and then later tuck it back in. And there's like a little sticky on here that helps you keep those on there. And even the large ones, like all the dies. I know, hopefully, I always like when they have the stamp and die together, but if not, I try to keep the stamps with the dies just back to back, you know what I'm saying? When I put them away, just put them away together. So we get that. Let me get my plates ready. I'm gonna get some of the paper out, and we'll start the cutting. I want to show you what I was talking about when I pull the paper out. It's on its own nice backing, like it just feels really nice. And then these little pieces are here that are already cut because they just want you to have a sample. So the purple is the full size, but I'm gonna pull out this little black piece. Oh, actually it's tucked under. Oh no, it's not. It's just notched in here. And this will be what I cut from my my little guys from. And I wonder if this purple piece is extra because they cut into it. I never noticed. I know that they do this, so I always feel like, oh, I have extra paper, but I wonder. Let's see. Let's just count just so we know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ooh, they give you a whole extra sheet of purple. You see that? The way they layered it? But since it's cut into, they're not giving you this as your 6th piece of purple. They're like, no, that's just a freebie. So that's awesome. Even more than I thought. Okay, so I'm gonna use that. Oh, you know what? Maybe I'll use this piece of purple for my card. Yes, for my card base, because like I told you guys I was gonna do that, but let me think. I have to cut it this way and fold it in half, right? Yeah, that should work. Okay, so I'll use this extra piece of purple for my card base. And, okay, let me get the other paper together. So I grabbed that little silver piece of paper, and just so you know, this also has, you know how I said it was use the extra for this? That black piece that was behind it is also an extra piece, but it's a whole, you know, A4 size paper. So really nice, kind of little extra bonus without even cutting into the paper yet. So I'm gonna take this. They say if you have a really intricate die, to go ahead and try to cut it with less pressure and then run it through with, like, let's say, and then next time you add your magnetic shim or next time you add the metal one, to give it a little more pressure, because what happens is like the paper gets broken into, right? As far as the fibers. Have you ever die cut something and when it's done, it's all like bacon neck, right? It's all bacon looking because it gets all warped, right? As the paper gets pushed in here and it's cutting all at once. So I'm just saying that because that's a tip. I'm not going to do that today because I'm just going to go for it. But if you know that there's a die in particular you have that it's just like, oh, every time I go to use it, my paper ends up all warped, then, you know, you can work it out. And obviously when you glue it down, it looks better, but it doesn't always look completely 100% better, right? So what you can do is, I'll show you right now whenever we talk about the sandwich here. And I keep using my Gemini. If you're using your, you know, Cuttlebug, obviously it's your same A plate, C and B, I believe, is it, for this kind of thing, or 2 Bs and the mat, or however you want to do it, but, you know, just follow those instructions. So for a Gemini, let me see if I remember it. Again, I have everything here, so I don't have to like memorize it, but let me just grab these plates. They're still kind of together from when I was doing the double-sided reviews. I have other double-sided ones I can go through and do too, but other ideas I have, but we'll do that later. So, clear cutting plate that apparently I've cut once on. I don't know, it has like a little mark here. Clear cutting plate. I'm gonna put the metal one down. I'm gonna cut into the metal, but we'll see what happens. A lot of times that's not necessary. Paper, and you can put the paper face up or face down to cut it. I'm gonna go ahead and just put this face into it, but however you want. Yeah, it's got to go like this. Oh, by the way, that paper again is A4 size, which means it's 8 1/4 wide by like, I think a little bit more than 11 inches tall. Isn't that how the British or that kind of paper is? So when I cut it in half to get my 8 1/2 so I can fold to the card base, it's only 8 1/4 wide. So if you really wanted to, you have to cut your paper the long way, and there's gonna be a lot of waste because it just doesn't work out for American numbers. But I'm gonna go ahead and just leave the card the way it is. So I'll talk about that in a minute, but let's cut out this front. I did order some of their low-tack tape, but that's coming soon, hopefully. Well, not that soon. I ordered it, I think, yesterday. It doesn't matter if this moves around, but I'm just gonna tape it down because there's plenty of room on this. I'm gonna go ahead and put the magnetic shim, plastic shim. Again, if you want to just cut it with less pressure, leave out either the magnetic or leave out the metal one, and then run it through. And it's not gonna cut completely all the way through. So the next time, go ahead, just leave it, everything, but add in either the magnetic shim or the metal shim, whichever one you left out, and then run it through again, and that time it's going to cut really perfectly and your paper isn't going to be all warped, okay? So that's just a little tip. Ooh, you hear that, baby? That's the Gemini Junior. I should probably just pause it and run it back through, but let's see what happened, because hopefully that's enough pressure. It should be, otherwise there's not much more pressure I can put other than putting a shim in. Let's see what this looks like. Oh, I think we're good. Okay, so I'm just turning it over because if it wasn't good, I was going to flip it right back down. So let me get these things out of the way because they make the camera go crazy. Okay, so here we are. Now let's see what this looks like. Our moment here. And this stuff is really thick, right? The glitter paper. Again, it's 250 grams, I guess, or what? I don't know. Yeah, GSM. But it also has that glitter, and the glitter is held down by like I don't know what you want to call it. Some kind of plastic, really. epoxy, I guess. I don't know what they would call it. You know what I'm saying? So like, it doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't come off. It feels nice and smooth, but it's super glittery. And it's glitter. I mean, if you look at it up close, it's glittery. Hopefully you can kind of see that. So if you don't have this stuff, I recommend you get it. Now, if it's easier for you to get it through HSN, do that. Or just try it out at least, because it's really nice. So I'm going to take this off. Ooh. And I'm not going to sit here and poke everything out. I'll obviously do this off camera, but it cut, I mean, like butter. I mean, everything's out. It's not falling out because it has a lot of reasons to hold on, right? There's lots of little areas and those little gaps. So I'm totally going to use my tool off camera and try to get everything out. But that's pretty nice. I don't know if you can see. So I'll do that off camera. I'm going to put this over here before I lose that piece. And again, I would clean this out and then stick it back on the carrier sheet and stick it back into that plastic so we don't lose anything. And I guess if you really wanted to, you could save that for something else, because that's a pretty good size, good amount of card there. So again, I would stick this back on here and put it away, right? Okay, so then I'm going to cut out some of the little fairies, and I am going to leave it really thick. Again, the same sandwich I just showed you, the cutting plate, the metal shim, my paper. Now this is really pretty. Again, not shiny. It's a matte mirror. It looks kind of like vinyl, really. I'm probably going to cut out all the shapes, but I'm not going to use all of them because this card's not going to be big enough to use all of them. I did want to use make like a fun card, like a stepper card or something like that, but at the same time, I just wanted to make a quick card too. So, not that those are really that much more intricate. They don't take that much more time. Let me try to cut all of these guys. I like this flying one. Alright, I was able to fit, I probably, if I did some maneuvering, I can probably fit all of these guys on here. Let me see. I don't want to end up having this thing slip and then mess up one of my dies, but I do want to see how many I can get on here for free, right? Because this paper was basically free. Oh, snap. Alright, so I can't get them all in here, and I'm going to tape them up. I'm going to do the same sandwich you just saw, so I'll put the magnetic shim on top of this. I'll put that plastic shim and then the cutting plate, and then I'm going to run it through and pray that they don't move. Here, I can do this one more like this. That way it gives it a little more room. Because if it gets pushed, then those two dies are going to go on top of each other, and it will not be a good thing. So what I'm going to do is put lots of tape at the beginning and the ends of them. And like I said, I'll get those popped through. But I'm still going to put more tape down. Like, ugh, the ends of this tape. This is just washi tape, and to be honest, I probably shouldn't be using this because it's a cute one, but I don't care. I don't really use washi that often. It's mostly for a tool for me. Alright, so lots of tape. We're going to put down the magnetic plastic and cutting, and I'm going to run it through, and I will be right back. So it's almost done, and it sounds like nothing shifted, because I would assume if one of those metal plates got on top of another one, it would probably like stuck or do a weird noise or something, so I'm pretty sure we're good. But I did put plenty of tape, okay guys, so just know that. Aww. Okay, so I'm going to pop these all out and get rid of that tape. And then flick out all those little extras, right? The little extra bits that are kind of in there. Oh, come on. Like this one wants to pop out already. Oh, I can just flick these. I don't want to do too much because they're pretty delicate, but look at that. Gorgeous. Okay, I'm going to cut some paper down to size 2, and then we'll get the card all assembled. So that just took, you know, 10 minutes poking out all those little extra bits, but well worth it. One area did get a little bit stuck where I had to like basically pry it off and then cut it in the back with scissors, so I think it was right down in here. But that was just that one area. Again, could be the machine. I don't know if it's the die, because obviously it cut almost all the way through. It just had a little area that was kind of stuck there. Okay, so I measured this, and even though on the thing it says it's 4 by 5 and 5.3 inches, when we measure, it's 4 inches by 5 and a quarter. So 5 1/4 by 4 inches. So I went to cut my paper, and I cut it in one direction first, and I thought, I need it to be, what is this? Landscape, right? Not portrait, because this thing is basically like this. Now, you can have your card like this. Why not, right? In a portrait. If I was going to stamp something, I thought it'd be weird to put it here, you know, I don't know. Maybe that's better. Maybe it looks like a little thing, and then you put your little stamp across your sentiment this way. You know, do whatever you like. I'm just going to put it sideways. So I cut those trees so you can see the trees have a direction, right? So I'm going to glue this on top of this. And then we're going to layer that on top of the card base. And I just want to show you about the card base real quick. This is what I was saying. So your A4 size paper, this, and I realize now that they're, this board, this is the scoring board from Crafts Companion. You can get it at HSN. I thought I ordered the glittery one. They keep sending me this one. I did it twice. I'm like, your picture shows glitter, because they have a purple one that has glitter. But oh well. Is that the paper is A4 size wide. So this is actually 8 1/4. If you look at the edge here, it doesn't go to 8 1/2, which is fine because you just have to go to 4 1/4 to make your card. But since my paper is the A4 size, and like I said, I just cut it 5 1/2 inches down, so that left me a piece that's 8 1/4 wide. I'm going to do my folding here. I'm gonna, you know what? I'll do it very lightly on this side. So I'm gonna mark it at 4 inches and 1/8, right? 4 1/8. And I'm going to turn it over and do it better on the other side because of that nice matte mirror, and I don't want to really mess it up. So hopefully that works out. Again, you know, my paper cutting skills and all that. Sometimes it's a little bit crooked, but what I do is I always match up the ends anyway, and I push it towards the bone fold. That way your paper is lined up on the left and right a little nicer. Okay, I'm not trying to push down too hard because I don't want to crack this, but at the same time, it did not crack, so that's really nice. I'm just going to fold it a little bit more. Give it a little more pressure. Okay. Love this paper. It's gorgeous. Alright, so to adhere this sparkly thing, now you can just come in with, like, you know, your little all-purpose glue or whatever, like I put it in here, the Collall glue. Do whatever you like. I am going to, since it has a lot of small areas, of course you can use your sticker maker or something like that if you have the larger Xyron. I'm going to turn this over, and I'm going to use my little Dollar Tree beacon adhesive glue. People are asking me how this held up. It's still looking great. I mean, it's been, what, maybe a couple weeks now since I used it on all of these projects, and they are great, and nothing is moving and doesn't look like anything's lifting up or doing anything funky. Look at that. They're perfectly stuck down. So, I know people were wondering, and they ask me every once in a while about it. So again, it came from the Dollar Tree. This is the same one I've been using. Just make sure maybe clean this off every time you use it, or afterwards, because to be honest, it's just sticky glue. You can just peel it off. I just like to keep that kind of open. So I'll just spray, 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 spray. That's probably more than enough. That's probably plenty, plenty. And it still works great and everything. And maybe you can see the way it, I don't know if you can see the splatters of the glue, but anyway, they're on there. What do I do with my paper? Oh my gosh. There it is. Alright. So our paper. And I'm going to try and do this carefully since I cut the paper right to the exact same size of this, right? So what did this thing say it was? I'm gonna get the napkin, fold it in the other direction so I don't put glue back on it, and I'm gonna use that to help me stick this down. So again, 4 by 5 1/4 is what I cut the color pattern paper at. Oh, that works out really well. So I'm just kind of flattening it out. And then I guess if you really wanted to leave it to dry completely, which is probably what I should do, because we want to also adhere this to our card front. And I'm doing it this way just because I have this piece now. I'm going to put this piece on my card. You could have stuck down your background paper on the, you know, card first. It's a little bit off on this area here, so I'm going to cut that off. Should have eyeballed that better. Somebody had asked me, a friend of mine here, when I was doing my wax seals, they kept being off a little bit, you know what I'm saying, instead of right in the middle of the wax puddle. But what happens is, you guys, I'm like back here. I don't know how to explain. My arms are stretching out basically to do this so I can be under the camera. And there's no way for me to change this setup. So that's kind of why this is me. This is it. This is it right here. So sometimes if I see something right, I'll do it. Sometimes it doesn't quite work out. But this bottom edge is sticking out a little bit, but you know what? I'm going to leave it. So I'm going to let this dry, and I'll be back in a few minutes. Well, immediately for you guys, but a few minutes for me. And then we're going to get these guys down and try to figure out something for a sentiment. And then we'll be done. Okay, while that's drying, I'm just grabbing the Sparkle All the Way stamps, and I'm going to grab the word Twinkle. And I have not actually, I don't think I've reviewed for you guys or tried it, the metallic pigments. I got them last year, never opened them. Right now that I put all my new things in that origami cart, all my Crafts Companion, every single one of their stamp pads that I own, and I own pretty much almost all of them except for all the pigment ones that they just came out with. I have them all in one place, so I was looking to see what color do I want to use here. So I'm going to use the silver to stamp the word, and we will see how that looks, how that works. And then I'll go around the edges of that little paper. Well, we'll see. With the crushed velvet, because like I said, that color is supposed to be cerise, the card base, and they don't have that as a ink color, which is weird because they're always using that for foil and everything else, so you think that they would have an ink color called cerise. That's too small. Let's get another. Ah, that one's too small too. Where are my stamping bases that would work here? I just have a piece of white paper here. I'm just going to stamp on. It's just literally just a little scrap piece of white paper, and I'll cut it nice and square in just a minute. Oh, here. Again, this old school thing I have here, because I used to use it all the time for journaling, so it's just on there. All right. Metallic pigment. They have it in gold and bronze and all kinds of other colors. I'm going to stamp this off to make sure it works, but since pigment, I have a feeling it's going to work really well. Like, that looks really good. Which again, it's pretty, but as you can see, it's not perfect. I don't know if you can see all those little bumps and everything, so that's kind of why I stamped it off again. I'm going to go ahead and bring this to the pad. I can see that looks a lot better. Okay. And I'm just going to stamp straight down onto my paper here, hopefully in the middle, because I don't want to do too much cutting, but... Aww, that's cute. I probably could have gone a little bit better. If I use a stamping tool, I could have stamped it twice, but... It just says twinkle. So all I'm going to do is eyeball this, which I shouldn't, I know, but... If that drives you nuts and you're a perfectionist, use your paper cutter, of course. I'm just trying to do this quickly. It looks like this is out a little bit this way. Okay, let's just pretend that's perfect. Not bad. So what I'm going to do with this is layer it up on the turquoise that's extra here. And I'm choosing the turquoise because I want to bring the blue from the background paper, which is probably going to be mostly covered up at this point, but that's okay. And let's see if this, oh, look how small I can do a very small, fine outline. That sounds good. So I grabbed crushed velvet. That's the closest one that I thought maybe, what's the other one called? Like that fuchsia color they always use, but that one's way too red, and this is crushed velvet. It's a little purple, so I thought that'll work. We'll just do that. And as you can see, I have purple ink on this from the last time I used this for whatever project, so I'm just going to dip this in here. This is just kind of a quick something to do. Just to give it a little extra. Yeah, as much or as little as you like. I was going to use those leaves, the foliage stamps, to kind of do a little background on that, but that's kind of busy. To do a background plus the word twinkle, and I wanted it in that, I am going to use this stuff. I've never used it before, the Collall glue. Remember when it arrived, it was kind of busted, but there's plenty of glue in here, so I wasn't going to complain about that. But hopefully if you do order your glue from Crafter's Companion, just make sure if it gets broken or if something popped, let them know, because they'll make it right. So what this one does is you squeeze it out, and it has this little brush kind of thing in the back that you can use to help you it's kind of thick. So I'm just going to put that down and try not to touch too much of the edges here. This is going to be a very thin outline. Just setting it down there. I feel like this part is taking longer than the actual cutting and everything. And then I'm just going to take my scissors, again a long pair, so I can just kind of eyeball it and just try to do this as straight as I can. I think I was a little off on that. This is so cute. Again, I have that Collall, so I can kind of mess with it a little bit. Let me move this out of the way. Anything shiny, just my camera's like, what? I'm also going to be using their 3D glue gel, which I haven't used yet, so that'll be fun to try out today. So there we have that. I'm going to close this up before it dries out. I don't think dry out that quickly, but who knows. Alright, so we have our card base. We have this little guy. We have the thing here. I had kept it underneath my mat just so it would flatten out. And then we're going to put this here, and we're going to put our little guys somehow, somewhere. I'm just trying to think if I want to do what Crafter's Companion always does when they kind of bend something to make it look round. Otherwise it's going to be super flat. I'm kind of scared, especially since I just put glue on this, but let's round this out a little bit. Ooh. And then with that 3D glue gel, we're going to stick some here, and then stick it down, and that's going to keep it up. Does that make sense? Okay, so I'm kind of rounding it a little bit. I did a little bit less because that was a little bit high. Okay. Ooh, this is coming together. Let me put some things aside here. I like that ink. I should probably wash this off very soon, but look how nicely it looks on there. It looks like it's perfect, but it did not stamp perfectly, so whatever. There we go. And then we need to stick down our fairies and everything. Okay, I'm gonna throw that to the side. Whenever I have trash, I just throw it on the floor, and after everything's done, I put it away. All right. I'm gonna use this glue again to stick down this whole thing, because why not? Yeah, it comes out kind of thick, so it's a good thing it has that little thing on the back there. You can use your runner, obviously, all those kind of things, which maybe I should have used, because this is very slippery. I'm trying to stick this down without putting too much glue everywhere it doesn't need to be. Ooh, that's like perfect. So, if you don't want to be shysty or, you know, chintzy like I was trying to be with the paper and just cutting, you know, your own sheet of A4, go ahead. It's kind of a bummer to realize that about the A4, because every time you make a card that's standard size and you want to use, like, let's say that paper in the background, you're going to have to cut it the long ways to get your 8.5 and then 5.5 over, so you're kind of wasting it, you know? You might still get 2 pieces out of it, though. Just long. It's just more cutting than just cutting the paper in half, right? Like we're used to. We're used to just cutting it in half and it works. But this time we're gonna have to cut it kind of in half and then make another cut to make it the other length. So not the biggest deal. Just kind of a bummer. Okay, I'm trying to get the excess glue to not stick the card together. I think I'm gonna let this dry, you guys, to be honest, because I want it to stay flat, and then I'll be right back. Okay, guys. So the 3D glue gel, it comes like this in a set, or if you're buying, like, sometimes they have like different specials and they'll throw in like 2 of the all-purpose, 2 of the other 3D glue gel. It'll just be like this, I think. That's how I end up getting it. So this one I bought as a kit, and this one I bought just by itself, so I'll use this one. But the kit comes with a little syringe, and you've probably seen them using these on Crafter's Companion on their site. And then it comes with a tip, which would probably be good, but I'm not going to use that. And I think that's all it came with. But they call it a set. Oh, and it comes with a little tiny lid. Oh, well, that's what they're showing. So the syringe has a little topper, so it obviously doesn't dry out. Or hopefully it doesn't dry out. So I'm going to put that to the side. This is the first time I've used it and never used it before. Okay. So I have my little fairies, and we'll decide what we want to do with that. Let me get my card out. Like I said, I try to keep it flat, and I keep it underneath my stamping mat. And the extra glue from that all-purpose glue squeezed out the sides, but look, it kind of held the bottom. Okay, so there you go. And it kind of rubs away. It's kind of rubbery. It kind of reminds me of Beacon's 3-in-1 in a way. So there's that. Just letting you know. So I would try out a few different of their glues, and I want you to notice the Dollar Tree glue. Look at that. It's perfect. Perfectly flat. It's not doing anything. It's doing great. So I do like that. Okay, so let's see about these guys. We have quite a few. This one at the bottom, that's one thing. I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna use 2. I mean, if I put in any more, this card is really small. I guess if you wanted to, you know. So I'll use those for another time. But I'm gonna take this stuff, and the point of this is that it's 3D glue gel. I was watching a cute little lady that she had won some kind of prize, so Sarah had her there for like the weekend or something. And she was doing, you know, tutorial with her, and she put it down, she'd smash it down, and I'm like, no, what are you doing? But Sarah didn't notice, so she didn't say anything. But basically, you're gonna squeeze this stuff, and it's like super thick, and put like a chunk of it. Ooh, this is really thick. You gotta have some muscles for this, girls. Oh my goodness. No wonder. I was like, well, I just figured they put a big glop and that's what keeps it there, but no, it's because it's hard to push out. Okay, I'm just gonna put 2 because I don't know where else to put this. And some came out this side here, and I'm gonna try to clean that up with, okay, a pokey tool I just have here. I don't know if you can see what I'm talking about. It came off this edge, and I can see it from the front, so I kind of want to clean that up before we move on. And you can also, now that reminds me, you can use your pokey tool to help you do that, to apply it, and I'll show you that on the next one. So what you do is you stick it down and you don't push it down. You push it enough to hold on, obviously, to touch your paper or whatever, but you don't squeeze it down. And you know what, I'm thinking maybe I should move it over a little bit. I don't really know where that tag is going to end up. Yeah, so let's move this guy a little bit. I don't mind the tag being under him, but there we go. So the other thing you can do to apply this is use your poking tool or anything else like this. You give it a squeeze. Hopefully you can kind of see that's coming out. And then just take like a piece of it and then stick it wherever you need it to go. So I would stick it like here. That is actually easier. I think once maybe you get to the bottom, or if it's warm enough in a place that you're working with this, that it doesn't stick so hard. This stuff is really thick. Okay. And I'm going to let them hang off the side. If you're going to make a card like this, you're probably going to give it to the person anyway because it has that big loop on the top. Okay, we're going to stick that down. And then this here. So this time I will try to just squeeze it, because what you're going to do is put this like there so that it is flush. Does that make sense? You have to put enough that it's going to touch the paper and clear that little roundness. Okay, and you can put a big old glop in the middle too. But I'm going to see how much or how little I can put on here and get away with it. I'm trying to get that under her little arm. That's cute. But like I said, it covers up pretty much everything that's in that little background area. Again, if you wanted to place it, you know, this orientation, that'd probably be great too. So now this isn't necessarily a Christmas card, right? I mean, I don't know. It's kind of centered in between the two stars. I hope you can kind of see that. I'm going to stop touching this because I keep messing with it. But I want you to see that these little guys are off the paper. This is touching that glue. I hope you can kind of see how it's really thick in there and touching. And we're going to let it dry and they're going to be great. So I think it's cute. Thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully, you know, you got a little something from that, learning about the different glues and other things that they got going on. Seeing the paper in action and about their glitter paper, which is really awesome. You know, Close My Heart has a really great glitter paper too. Again, doesn't really smear either. I do not sell them at the current moment, but it's still a great product, so I just want to let you know about that. Anna Griffin has a really nice mirror card. Obviously, they have matte mirror card. I don't know if she has glitter paper. I feel like I have a set of hers that had glitter paper, but either way, thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you at the next one. Bye now.